Yo, what's happening? What it is? What's good? What's popping? Everybody, welcome to the channel El Toro Analysis. I am your host, El Toro. Ladies and gentlemen, I just started this channel recently just to discuss every topic related to football on a weekly basis. So anything from your match day previews, match day reviews, and just general footballing news on a weekly basis, like I said. I have a plan of releasing around a minimum of 2 videos a week and a maximum of 4. So that's around like 1 every second day at least. So yeah, that's just what I created the channel for. And just a bit of a background, I am a Manchester City supporter, but this channel will not necessarily be based on Manchester City alone. It will primarily be about Manchester City news, Manchester City performances, transfer news, starting 11s, formations, and things like that. But then I will just leave it open to the rest of the league. I will discuss other teams that I find interesting, because there is a segment in this channel or this show where I talk about match day previews and match day reviews. So it won't only be about Manchester City, right? Alright guys, let's get into this. So first things first, I want to speak about Tammy Abraham's transfer to AS Roma. So Tammy Abraham just completed a £34 million move to AS Roma. And I mean, I can't say I didn't expect that, because it's been if I can say, in the pipeline for the past couple of weeks, especially since Chelsea just completed the £97.5 million transfer of Romelu Lukaku. So yeah, like I said, it's not something surprising, and I wish Tammy all the best, with his move to Italy, and I hope he'll get integrated into the first team as soon as possible and might be that main, target man, that main striker for AS Roma. The next transfer, well, I already touched on this, that is Romelu Lukaku's move to Chelsea for £97.5 million. I mean, that is a good move, but I just want to say that I'm not necessarily hyping up the transfer. I know how good Lukaku is, I know how good he can be, but Lukaku is not everything. That doesn't mean that just because Chelsea signed him, now they're going to win the league title and all that. He is a very, very, very good centre forward, but I just feel like football fans in general should not get carried away, if I can put it that way. And then yeah, moving on, I want to speak about Rafael Varane's, I think it's around £41 million move to Manchester United, and he was recently unveiled to the Manchester United fans after their game again. No, I think it was before the game. I think it was before the game against Leeds United. He came onto the pitch, paraded his number 19 t-shirt, and yeah, he got quite a thunderous ovation, from the Man United fans. I mean, who wouldn't give a thunderous ovation for a player like Rafael Varane? I think he's won the Champions League like 5 times. No, 3 times, sorry. Around 3 times, I'm not sure. And obviously he's won the World Cup also recently. Well, that was 3 years ago. Anyways, yeah. So that's the transfer. And I feel like it's a good move for Manchester United. I feel like Man United fans shouldn't get carried away, especially after their first result of the season. I mean, yes, they won 5-1, but it wasn't like... It's the first game, it's the first game. And United has had times where they started really well in a season, but they still never won the league title. So that's why I'm saying fans should not get carried away. It was a brilliant performance, especially from Paul Pogba. And I've always admired Paul Pogba. I still feel like he's the best player at Manchester United currently. I know that there's Bruno Fernandes, but I just feel like Paul Pogba is just a different type of gravy, Anyways, yeah. So this transfer should obviously reinforce Manchester United's defense, and probably it will help them keep clean sheets, because last season they got that nickname, the Comeback Kings, and I was just always asking myself, why would you be happy by calling yourself the Comeback Kings? Because that just means your defense is very weak. It's a very leaky and faulty defense. Why would you be happy to be Comeback Kings? So I just feel like this season, Harry Maguire has stepped up since last season as just in every aspect of his play as a centre back. He's stepped up. So I feel like that the addition of Rafael Varane to that back line will just add that much needed maturity, that much needed experience, that much needed quality, And finally, ladies and gentlemen, I want to speak about Harry Kane. So Harry Kane has returned to full training after missing out on much of the preseason. I feel like he missed out on all of the preseason. And then I think Nuno said he's back in training. before the City game and he's in contention to start, but obviously that didn't happen. So I'm not really worried about Harry Kane's potential transfer to Manchester City, because I just feel like the asking price is just unreasonable. It's around like 150 million, and looking at what Chelsea paid for Romelu Lukaku, which is around 97.5 million pounds, I don't think that 150 million pounds for Harry Kane is reasonable. I don't think it is feasible also. I just feel like at least if he was around 25 years old, then by all means sign Harry Kane for 150 million pounds. But right now, yes, I know that Harry Kane is class. He's a class footballer, but yeah, 150 million is just too much. At the end of the day, it's not my money. So if City decides that they want to pay 150 million pounds for Harry Kane, I mean, then so be it. You know what I mean? It doesn't hurt my pocket in any way. And yeah, okay, let's get to the results from the weekend. Firstly, we had Brentford versus Arsenal, and what a game it was, for Brentford. Yes, Arsenal had a lot of the ball. They had spells where they just controlled possession, and it was difficult for Brentford to get the ball. But overall, Brentford looked really comfortable in the Premier League, in their first ever game. And for them to win it 2-0 and, well, obviously keep a clean sheet, that was just absolutely amazing. Yeah, they absolutely outplayed Arsenal. They played really brilliant football. And then the second result of the weekend was Manchester United versus Leeds, and it was 5-1. Manchester United absolutely dismantled Marcelo Bielsa's Leeds. And yeah, you know what? Bruno Fernandes scored a hat-trick. I always criticize Bruno Fernandes, saying that he's not, he doesn't step up to the plate when it comes to performances against the big teams. But, man, he's consistent. But his consistency is against like the lower table teams, if I can put it that way. I will always be skeptical about how good he is on a higher level, against the bigger teams, because he never performs against them. He always has anonymous performances. But according to his performance against Leeds, he was absolutely amazing. But the standout performance from me was from Paul Pogba, Manchester United's best player in my opinion. Yes, he didn't get a hat-trick, but he got the assists, and he just made everything tick. For Bruno Fernandes to have taken up the positions that he got, it was due to Paul Pogba's vision. And yeah, I just feel like they absolutely outplayed Leeds United, which is very astonishing, because I mean, come on, we all know how much of a tactician Marcelo Bielsa is. And yeah, but anyway, it's still early in the season. I don't think that this is much to go on. Like, Manchester United has had seasons where they started brilliantly and they didn't really do anything in the latter stages of the season. So we'll just see where this goes and if this performance wasn't a once-off. Okay, next up we have Wolverhampton Wanderers versus Leicester City, and Leicester won that 1-0. I don't really have too much to say about this one, but I just feel like the Wolves project is it's in jeopardy. It's just not going anywhere, I feel, especially with their new manager. So we'll just see. Like I said, it's the first game of the season, so maybe they might pick up and gain some momentum. Next we have Aston Villa versus Watford, and this result surprised me because I have Watford down as, they're going to get relegated at the end of the season in my predictions video. So I'm not really sure what to think about this, but like I said, and I'm going to keep saying, this was the first game of the season. But Watford played really well. They went 3-0 up, but then obviously Aston Villa almost came back, or they almost leveled matters, but they only ended at 2. So the final score was 3-2. And I was expecting more from Aston Villa's new signings, and obviously their goalkeeper Martinez, I have a whole lot of admiration for him, and I feel like he's a genuinely good goalkeeper, right? But yeah, Aston Villa, maybe they might come back from this. Maybe it might hurt them for the rest of the season, but we'll just see, And then the next result is Burnley versus Brighton. This result, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, Burnley loses its credibility sometimes for me, Over the past couple of seasons, I would see them play really well against teams like Man United and Liverpool, etc. But then when it comes to the lower table teams, it seems like they struggle a lot, especially because those types of teams have similar styles of playing, and the physicality of those teams is also quite similar. So it's very difficult for Burnley to do what their identity says they do. You know what I mean? And yeah, they lost. Brighton came back from behind and they beat them 2-1. So great character from them, you know. And we have Newcastle versus West Ham United. This was another comeback victory. West Ham just outperformed Newcastle. You know, I feel like West Ham is a joy to watch at times, you know. Players like Said Benrahma are quite exciting. Mikel Antonio had a really great game. And yeah, Thomas Souček, I can't forget Thomas Souček, my favorite West Ham United player. He's just absolutely unplayable, you know. He's shown, even though it's the first game, that last season wasn't really a fluke, you know. He finds those positions, he always gets himself into those spaces where he can exploit opposition defenses and things like that. So he's a very good player, you know, very, very good player. I genuinely rate him as a quality. I think he's a holding midfielder for West Ham, so he's really good, you know. And then let's go to Chelsea versus Crystal Palace. I mean, you know, the score was 3-0. Chelsea won 3-0, and they kept another clean sheet. I feel like for this performance, I wouldn't say it was, you know, just out of this world, but it was really good. It was really good, considering the fact that it was the first game of the season. So obviously it's good for momentum basis. And yeah, I just feel like for Patrick Vieira, I've been very skeptical. I actually put Crystal Palace down as a contender for relegation because I just feel like the inexperience of Patrick Vieira doesn't really match the plan that Crystal Palace has for going forward. And Crystal Palace just lost, I think, 2 or 3 first team center backs, something like that. So that's another big blow for them. I feel like they're going to be lacking that experience, that leadership, that maturity in their back line going forward, you know. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we have Everton versus Southampton, another comeback victory. You know, Everton just, they totally outclassed Southampton, if I can put it that way. Southampton, their new striker scored, so that's a plus for them, because I always thought that maybe the departure of Danny Ings might, you know, be Southampton's downfall, and they wouldn't have that much firepower going forward. I mean, they do have Shea Adams there, but I mean, come on, he's like at best, he's a championship level striker, you know. Yes, he will get you some goals here and there, but at best, he's a championship level striker. And then we have Norwich versus Liverpool. This was a really great game for Liverpool, you know, considering how turbulent their past season was. Yes, they finished third, but the entire season as a whole was just very turbulent. So for them to get this momentum, plus having Virgil van Dijk back in the starting lineup, I feel like that was a big plus for them. So maybe going forward, they might keep this consistency and momentum going, you know. And the last game, last but not least, my team, Manchester City. It was a very disappointing result, you know, because we lost 1-0 to Tottenham Hotspur. And it was a trademark Son Heung-min goal against us, you know. I feel like every time we add to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, Son Heung-min just becomes prime Ronaldo, you know, R9. I don't understand how that happens. He just morphs into this beast, you know. They get a counter attack and he just punishes us. And that's how I feel much of the game went, you know. Tottenham Hotspur punished us when they had the chance. We had a whole lot of chances, but we were not clinical. We were not able to hit the target as much as we wanted to. Yes, we had a lot of the ball, but then we didn't make it work for us, you know. And another thing, I'm not happy with the personnel we have, you know. Starting from the left back, Benjamin Mendy. Yes, I feel like he's reached his ceiling at Manchester City. I don't think he's going to get any better. I feel like we got the best of Mendy, I think 3 seasons back. Well, just the last time before his big injury that laid him off for like around nearly a year. So yeah, I feel like we've seen the best of Mendy, and I don't think he's going to get back his glory years, if I can put it that way. And then Sterling, you know, Sterling was pocketed, bro. He was pocketed by Japhet Tanganga, and I don't know what to say about that, you know. I feel like at this point of the season, it's still early, so I can't really criticize Sterling. It was the first game, you know. So I just feel like I hope he gets better. I hope he gets that confidence. I hope he gets back into his leadership role for Manchester City, because he is one of those captains, you know. When the likes of Fernandinho are not there, Kevin De Bruyne is not there, Sterling is one of the go-to guys, you know. So I feel like that should give him a bit of a confidence boost. I feel like he can regain his momentum. throughout the course of this season. And obviously, because Pep was able to trust him with the first game, maybe he will continue giving him some game time, especially now that Phil Foden is, laid off with injury. Okay, so for this week's star performances, I just want to give those to Paul Pogba, and I also want to give the other one to Brentford. I feel like Brentford just played absolutely entertaining football. Yes, I know Manchester United also had a really great game, but then when it comes to Brentford, they are obviously newly promoted. So for them to do that against a team like Arsenal, which is obviously the prestige that the club has, even though the past couple of seasons or the past few seasons haven't gone according to plan or according to the status of the team, I still feel like for Brentford to get a win in their first Premier League game, especially against a team like Arsenal, that was just a very big deal. And then obviously with Paul Pogba, yeah, I just feel like Paul Pogba's performance was just head and shoulders above everyone else. He absolutely demolished Leeds United. His vision was immaculate. He was immaculate. He just had a brilliant performance all around. So yes, those are my two performances of the week, Brentford and Paul Pogba. Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And yeah, I hope, as a final word, I hope that everybody stays safe and continues to exercise all necessary precautions in remaining healthy. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time.